Fanya, when we speak about Judaism, we speak about the people of the book, but you are going more inside that. All of the books have letters, have words. It's the Judaism are Jews, the people of words.
We don't speak about Jews as the people of the book. It comes from the Quran. The Quran spoke about us as the people of the book, and that was a legal category. The Christians, the Jews, some other minorities were people of the book. They got some better treatment because they had the Bible. So I don't think that we are the people of the book. There are many peoples in the world that have many books. The Jews are the people of ancient written culture for everybody. To be accurate, this is it.
So, if we're the people of the writing, that's because we have the Bible, yes. But we have things in Latino, yes. We have in Yiddish, we have Hebrew, which are the languages of the Jews.
There were many languages of the Jews. Hebrew is the rock. That's why I recommend to every Jew, and even some non-Jews in the world, to have a little bit of Hebrew. This is the rock layer. And then we had Aramaic, and we had Babylonian, and we had Assyrian. We had Greek. We had Arabic in the Middle Ages. Maimonides wrote in Arabic. We had the modern European languages. We had the languages that Jews invented for themselves. You had Ladino and Yiddish. Many of those languages, as languages of the Jews, as spoken and created languages of the Jews, were murdered by the Nazis in the mid-20th century. After that, I think that the two main languages of the Jews remained Hebrew, modern Hebrew, luckily, and English. But now that I'm here in Mexico City, I think also Spanish is a language of the Jews.
Yes, we have many things, many writers in Spanish. You have seen it here, how many books we have in Spanish about Judaism.
I was impressed.
And about that. What do you think is a Jewish book? Because we have, many people will think of a Jewish word, religion, a prayer, culture. Many will say it, Bashir singers that wrote in pen, in Playboy. So what for you is a Jewish word?
Big question. You know, I'm part of a great project, Anthology of Yale University Press, with Posen Library. We have the whole of Jewish creativity from more or less from Adam and Eve or the early antiquity until today. So what is Jewish? In what sense is a Woody Allen movie Jewish? In what sense is the science of Einstein Jewish? In what sense is the philosophy of Spinoza Jewish? It's a tricky thing. So I wouldn't say a Jewish book, but I would certainly say a book by Jews. And for me, the criterion is that a book by Jews is argumentative, fresh, not reverential, always opening up new vistas. Today we call it thinking out of the box. And the other criterion for a Jewish book is that it's never only for Jews. There is always an element of humanity, of mankind, in every book written by a Jew and worth its salt.
Do you know when somebody writes or says or do something about Jews and use it despectively or say this Jew, this bad thing, we say you don't have to personalize and say Jews. But when we do something good or we have a book, we spoke about this is a Jew that wrote this big book. Why we use it in a good way, and when we said somebody says in a bad way, we said it's anti-Semitic. Why do you think these words change in every direction?
Oh, I have many bad things today to say about Jewish traditions and about some Jews I know today, and even about my beloved country, Israel. The good and the bad is always intertwined. People have been making mistakes or being stupid or even being evil forever. This is not a Jewish thing. This has been part of history. So for me, every time that Jewish life became inward-looking, turning its back on the rest of the world, thinking that we are better than others somehow, being haughty or arrogant or pretentious, this was a bad moment, and I'm not hesitating to say that. The nationalist element in Israeli politics is bad. I don't hesitate to say that. What I am saying is that the deep level, the mainstream, the secret river of Jewish tradition and continuity was about eternal conversation among Jews and outside Jewishness with other cultures. We took more from the Babylonians, Assyrians, and Greeks of antiquity than we would care to admit. The Talmud is pretending that it's all Jewish invention, but no, there were many, many inputs in there. We Jews are at our best when we are dialogical, when we are conversational. We speak too much, but we are good talkers, and sometimes even good listeners as well.
Your book is Jews and Words. When you write about Jews or about Israel, you just spoke about Israel and the government. Do you have to be careful on what you said, not to generate hate about Jews or against Israel, or you have to write it correct and what you believe in everything? You just spoke that there are things you don't like, so you write about that, or you have to keep it inside, not to be, you have to be careful with the words.
No. The beauty of Israeli society and culture, it has many beauties and also some ugly points. The beauty is that everybody says exactly what they want to say. And people tend to tell you what they think about you. And people even tend to tell the Prime Minister and his wife what they think about them. And this is something deep in Jewish culture that I love. In our book, Jews and Words, my father and I called it reverent irreverence. That is, even when you believed in God, you could speak up against him, criticize him, tell him, like Abraham told him, will the judge of all earth not do justice? Say quite horrible things. Or do like Sarah did, the matriarch Sarah, and laugh in his face, which is where the baby's name, Isaac, Yitzchak, he who will laugh, came from. So the idea is that you must never worship anything at all. And we in Israel are very orthodox about this. We don't worship our government, we don't worship our politicians, we don't worship our writers and intellectuals, and we tend to speak our minds. This is part of Jewish worldliness that I really like.
When you say about Jewishness and you speak about Jews, we know that one of the things more people say about it is Lashon Hara. It's the worst thing you can do about something. Mm-hmm. And Lashon Hara, they are words. Words are strong. For you, which are the strongest words in Judaism? Mm-hmm. Or in Yiddish, or in Hebrew? Which one are the strongest words somebody can use in?
There are some swear words, especially in Yiddish, that are so strong that even I will blush when I repeat them. And my Yiddish is not that good, so I will not take the risk. There are some beautiful curses in Yiddish. They're quite lovable, actually.
No, when you say something about you want to, yes. No, how do you say it? You say you want to give something bad to somebody. Yes, exactly. In Yiddish, there are many words and many fabulous ones.
Fabulous ones, I know. I would say that in Hebrew, which is more economical, the worst thing that you can say to another person is tipesh, or in the biblical Hebrew, ksil, which means a fool. We don't like to be stupid. We don't like to be fools. This is not a culture which is tolerant of foolishness, by which I don't mean, God forbid, ignorant. The idea is that people should be educated. But if you are really foolish, somebody in your family or your neighbors will tell you that. And that is a kind of word that we can easily use against our government and tend to do it quite often these days.
And a good word, what will be a good Jewish word about it that you can say to somebody that you would like to say it's very strong? Many will say shalom, but I think there are many other words. Like
a strong Jewish word. One of my beloved Jewish words is kadima. We talk about it in the book. Kadima in modern Hebrew means forward, but it is a strange word. It's also part of our national anthem, Hatikva, the hope, looking forward, kadima. But it comes from the word kedem, which means the east, and the east also means the past. This is where Abraham came from in the beginning. So kadima is looking at the future, but at the very same time, the very same word also means looking at the past, at the very first early years of this civilization. So, to put it very briefly, what Kadima means is that a civilization that really wants to look forward and have a great future must at the very same time, the very same look should also be at the past. And this is what Jewish memory, Jewish reading is all about. This is our little secret.
That's something you talk and you touch in your book about talking about words and all what it means to me Jewish. Now that words have become also Jewish words have become part of other languages, like in United States, talking about Shlimazel, Mazel Tov. You hear it in every chutzpah, and there a mensch. They say it's a mensch, and there are many words that have been incorporated to other languages. Or kosher, when you say it's kosher, they use it in Mexico and other words, but not only Jews, they use it in other persons. What do you think it's your book talk about? What it has to be with other people? Because you said we don't write for Jews, we write for everybody. So what did you and your father wrote in this book?
You know, we live in a globalized world today, so half of the world is global. It can be everything, anywhere. You know, you can go to McDonald's or Starbucks anywhere on the planet and soon on the moon. And the other half of the world is so local. One half of the world is universal, so everything can work everywhere. The other part is so local that it's untranslatable. What we Jews have done is to take our untranslatables, the words that only belong to our culture, and because
like chutzpah, it doesn't have.
Chutzpah, and in our chutzpah we offer them as words to the rest of mankind.
Yes,
and
they said that.
take them up.
They said that Israel's characterization is it doesn't have chutzpah. It's chutzpahnik, and a mensch and all of that. So
well, Israelis can have chutzpah in the sense that we don't behave so well sometimes. We are not very polite, don't have table manners. But I want to remind you that chutzpah is also creating new inventions in high tech, in medical startups, in science. Chutzpah is the closest we have in Hebrew to thinking out of the box. We have a wonderful box, but we love to think outside.
And we have lovely books about Amos Oz. It's your father. How was it?
So he says. Yes.
So he said, all right. He paid all the stories and everything. It's your father. It's like we said, who pays? It's the owner, no? All right.
No. I grew up in a kibbutz. Nobody paid for anything.
All right. We're not going to discuss kibbutz, but it's right. How is it to be Amos Oz's daughter? How was it? How is it to write with him? It's his. How was to write with it, to work with him?
I have no idea because I've never been not Amos Oz's daughter. But seriously,
Yes, you were in a kibbutz, but
it's
you
really
were.
fun that I grew up in a kibbutz. Of course, I went to my family, to my parents, every afternoon, and we had wonderful quality time because the kibbutz allows parents and children to be together.
What kind of kibbutz
time
was it?
every day.
From which part?
It was kibbutz Hulda. It belongs to Gordonia, which is a movement that today has flown into Habonim Dror. You probably know that. That's where my children are now serving in the youth movement. I'm very proud of it. But look,
They could be in another Tzoni, but it's another land.
But the beauty of this kind of socialism was that you were not raised as a celebrity's daughter. There were no celebrities. If anything, I had to work harder, to try harder, because I was Amos Oz's daughter, and he himself had to work in the kibbutz very hard in order to be able to write his novels in the evening by the night lamp. So in many ways, I can be critical of the kibbutz. It has changed over time. I think it will remain and reinvent itself, but there was beauty, great beauty, in the humble, modest attitude of the kibbutz to everything: power, fame, money, success. And we had a lot of books on those humble shelves in the kibbutz, so I owe a lot to my kibbutz.
And how was it to work with him, to write this book?
I have some advice, a piece of advice. People already heard that from me. Don't try to write a book with your father or mother before you are 50 years old. After that, it balances out. So we were quite well balanced. It was lovely to argue with him. We see the world differently. He's a novelist, I'm a historian. He's a man, I'm a woman. He's older generation, I'm younger generation. So, for example, when we talked, we would sit around, have coffee, talk. I would make our conversations into the book by writing on my little laptop. My father would look at my little Apple laptop and say, I don't like these machines. This is the internet, right? I said, yeah, there is internet in it. Let me show you. I said, no. This is from Satan. He doesn't believe in Satan, but he says the internet is from Satan. Why is it from Satan? Oh, because it will make all books into electronic books. I say, yes, of course, here, look, this is electronic, it's your book, here it is electronic on Kindle. I don't allow it. Did I ever allow it? Oh, I'm sure you signed a contract at some point. What's wrong with it, I say? Oh, he says, this is not a real book, you can't touch it, you can't smell it, you can't write on it. I say, look, no. Books have changed over history. This is my profession. I'm a historian of reading, a historian of the book. We had scrolls, we had stone tablets, we had papyruses, we had the codex, and now comes the electronic book. It's still either a good book or a bad book. We have come all the way from the ancient scrolls to computer scrolling, from the ancient tablets to modern tablets. A good book will remain a good book, and a lousy book will remain lousy.
And tell me something, you were speaking about your father, technology. Now it's your turn to teach your sons. Well, your sons are already 22, but how does this work? Because every time it's harder to them to pick a book, like we are here in a library. I don't know if it's going to be in the future. I don't know if my sons will be getting a book or they see it in the computer. The other day my son told me, I had to read a book in the university, and I said, I didn't see it. Yes, I have it in my phone. Yes. I was reading in my phone. I need to have it in my hand, read it like your father and everything. How to teach your kids or every kid or interact with them to follow these steps. Not to be maybe writers. Maybe they like it.
Yes.
With that grandfather, with that mother, maybe they like to write. But how to teach our kids to read? Now they read in 140 characters or less. They put in WhatsApp, they put it in Facebook, and they said, I like everything. I like this, I don't like this, but they don't write it, they don't read more. They are tired of reading more than 100 pages. How do you manage with your kids, and how do you say it? We have to do it with everybody.
Well, the Jewish advice, which is an ancient advice, and I used it when my kids were small, was get them hooked on books before they are big enough to run away to their book with to the room with their smartphone. That is at the age of 3 in Jewish tradition, which is a very good age even today. They used to start teaching them to read. Today we do it a little later, but at the age of 3 you can sit around with them with good children's books and get them hooked, get them trapped into the beauty and sweetness of it. Jewish parents always combined books with food. So the first time the little 3-year-old boy went to the rabbi to start learning the Torah, the father and mother would come with sweets or honey, depending in which Jewish community, and put the sweets or the honey on the pages of the Torah, on the first alphabet. I tell parents today, when their kids get their first iPads, if they're 3 years old or 5, put honey on the iPad. It doesn't spoil the iPad. But seriously, make it pleasant for them, because reading is a habit. The younger, the better. And then let them run away with their computers for a while, because the bug of reading will remain. And I want to remind you, I'm not an anti-computer person myself. I have Twitter, Facebook accounts all over the place. Let me remind you that even playing an intelligent computer game is reading. Even sending tweets or text messages is writing. This is not lost. Our children are slightly more intelligent than us, so they will get there. One of my boys is now reading Tolstoy's War and Peace. It's not a bad continuation of the Game of Thrones or Harry Potter.
All right. Game of Thrones with Tolstoy, I never thought about it. But
well, you know, there are some, well, maybe a little more Dostoevsky into the bargain, but you know, they're getting there. They're getting there.
And with all you say about kids about 3, what do you do with now with young people that are used to use the cellular, to use other things, to forget words? Because instead of writing a word, I don't know, in Hebrew, in Spanish, instead of writing a word of 5 letters, they prefer to write it in a 2 letters word. They change it. They are changing word. They are creating a new alphabet. What do you think about this new alphabet, and how to teach boys or engage these boys, girls, young girls, boys, to read, to pick up a book, to say, I can see here, but when you see it, you see older people many times.
Yes.
And it's hard to get boys to a library, to a...
I agree. We might have to become stricter as educators, which is why catching them young is so important these days. Look at the French system. The French system is quite strict, and I'm not against strictness. But I think the real trick would be to get to them from within the internet, to find devious and cunning and graphically very, very attractive ways to get to them, so that the real stories, the best stories, or the most interesting philosophy, or the deepest poetry will come to them, not by the parent dragging them to the library, but by the internet sneaking it to them. So the way I see it in the coming future, in the coming decades, we shall have writers and educators getting into the internet and reaching out through their own tunnels to the youngsters, to the adolescents, to the people in their 20s. But I can tell you for sure, judging by the couple of hundreds or thousands kids I know in Israel, my sons, their friends, my university students, that all is not lost. Civilization will continue, and the next generation is not stupid at all.
And tell me, just you are here in Mexico for the International Jewish Book Fair. It's important to get Jewish books out of it, but you talk about food, and you like food, and it's in.
I know what you're going to ask.
All right, which is your favorite food when you are writing, and what food did you taste now in Mexico, and you have to write about it.
Well, yesterday I had my first glass of mezcal.
All right.
And this might become my writing drink.
All right, it's marvelous.
As for Mexican food, I love it. It is adventurous, it is intelligent, and it is literate. It is a food with history, it is food and words. So in some ways it is not so far from the Jewish traditions, and I love the spice and the humor of Mexican food.
All right, that's very tasty. And just to finish, here at the Mexican Jewish Book Fair, what do you think about it? We need more food, it's true. We have many books, we need more food. What do you think about this Jewish Book Fair? The first one, and we have the first of many.
This is part of a world phenomenon. There is a global phenomenon of a new awakening of Jewish culture, especially by and for non-Jews. I've been to Jewish book festivals up and down the globe recently in strange places. I love it. I think there is something about Jewish culture which is for today, which is opening up, which is becoming a new internet of ideas for Jews and non-Jews alike. And that's why I'm here. If it had been only the closed clubs of Jewish books and readers, I would not have taken the trouble to fly from Tel Aviv to Mexico City. But I'm here because I think Jewish culture is speaking to the world, can speak to the world, and I would love my little voice to be part of it.
Thank you very much. Welcome and thank you.
Gracias.